I have spent far too much of my time working on this epic contraption. Hello people of the tube, I hope you're having a good day, and today, as you can see, we are doing a tutorial for the largest ever retractable bridge in Minecraft with a mighty width of 18 blocks. This is one hell of a bridge, so let's get into how. Actually no, first let's actually let you see it, because this is such a epic bridge, and to actually decide whether you think it's worth it building this rather large redstone contraption. So yeah, so as you can see, we have the opening here. There we go. Then we can walk across our nice bridge, paying no attention to the fact that we can fly and that we could just walk across and then go up. And then now you can actually open or retract any of the bridge from either of these buttons, but so let's just retract it now, and here we can see the bridge retracting. So let's get into how we build this epic contraption. Let's go. So what you want to do first is to build a platform which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 blocks long, and then 6 blocks off the ground wherever you want your drawbridge to be. So this is going to be the first, so this is going to be when you're out of whatever you want, and then that's will be the other side which you're trying to get to. So you want to do, this can be any block you want. I've just used blocks of iron because it looks industrial and I like it. And this has to be any immovable object. It doesn't have to be obsidian. It could be anything such as furnaces or dispensers or just any tile entity. It could even be chests if you really wanted. But yeah, furnaces also work. I would recommend using furnaces because they are the cheapest. They are the cheapest thing, because if you're working in survival, and they're just easy to set up. So yeah, once you've done that, you want to replay the video. So pause it while you're doing this, and I'll take you through the next step. So after you've done that, you want to head over. So you want to actually go 18 blocks from this platform to the other platform, yet again building it 6 blocks off the ground, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 blocks long. Careful attention to that. This platform is 13 blocks long, and then with the immovable objects in the middle which go all the way to the end, with any block of your choice around the outside. So after you've done that, head back to the first platform, which is this one, and then go 1 block from the end, 2 blocks up, and place a block, and then place a button on it. And then behind it, you want to go a diagonal block down, and then turn left, diagonal block down again, diagonal block down again, diagonal block down again, and then turn right, diagonal block down again, turn right again, diagonal block down, turn right again, diagonal block down, and then go onto the floor, and then place a redstone in this U sort of shape here, and then place redstone on all of these other blocks as well. After you've done that, head over to the other side, and then yet again 1 block from the edge, 2 blocks up, place a stone button on the block. You don't actually need this block. I've just put a sign on it saying what it is. You can do that if you want, if it's in your redstone test world, but otherwise you don't actually need it, so I'll just break that so you can see it. So 2 blocks up, block of any block you choose, diagonal block down, turn right immediately, and then diagonal block down, diagonal block down, diagonal block down, turn left, diagonal block down, turn left again, diagonal block down, turn left again, diagonal block down, diagonal block down, and then yet again placing that redstone in that U shape, and then redstone on top of all of these blocks as well. So this next step is a bit complicated, but I hope you can manage. So what you want to do is, so in correlation to where you place this, so from this redstone is where you start it with a block down and then a repeater, And then I'll go up here. You want to lay out all of this floor pattern. You can just leave the repeaters on 1 ticks. We'll get to that later. And then that's a redstone torch if you want to know. These pistons are sticky. That's a normal piston, and I'll leave you to do that now. So pause the video here, copy all of this here, and then replay it once you've done. So now let's get the timing of the repeaters correctly. Pay very close attention to this part, because if you get one wrong, it might mess the whole thing up. So on this first repeater you place next to the redstone that you've already done, this is 1 tick going into the block, and then this one coming out of it, this is 4 ticks, and then this one is 3 ticks, this one is 1 tick. Also note that this has a sticky piston underneath to create that monostable circuit, and then this is 1 tick. And then the piston with the redstone block, you may not have seen this from the thing, so just pay careful attention to that now. With the redstone leading out of it, 3 observers lined up. You need to be actually above the observers, so they place like that. And then with redstone on top, and there we go. So now onto the other repeater timings. So we have along here, actually no, I might take you through this little setup we have here. So we have 2 repeaters here, a block up and then another block up with redstone on top of all of these. So that's 4 blocks along, and then down 1 across here, and then down another block. So on with the repeater timing. So these 2 are both 1 ticks next to the redstone torch with a sticky piston, and then this repeater also has 1 tick. These 2 leading up to these pistons, these are 1 block higher, take note of that. These are also actual 1 ticks, and then redstone coming out of them, 1 tick again. So these could be any block yet again, which just leads up to these pistons. Going round again, facing in this direction, we have a repeater with 1 tick, and then this repeater is also 1 tick, which goes into a block with the redstone coming out, and then this is the repeater next to the redstone torch with the sticky piston and the block. Moving along here, we also have a redstone repeater, and this one has 2 ticks, and this one is 1 tick. Also note that this is the same as the other side except for this repeater. So we have below the original redstone, we have repeater with 1 tick, it goes into a block with repeater with 3 ticks coming out of that block. Also, same as the other side over there, we have the monostable circuit. Don't forget the piston block here with any block on top of it. The repeater set to 1 tick, piston with a redstone block here, 2 redstone, 3 observers. Make sure you place them above, so like that. And then with the redstone on top. Now for the next step, pay close attention to this one. So next to the observer with the redstone on top, you want to place 1 here, 1 here, and 1 here, forming that little 2x2 square, all covered in redstone. And then yet again, these blocks can be anything you want, and so you want a block here with the redstone on top, going into a sticky piston, facing like inwards to the middle of the drawbridge. This is the one that's actually going to activate the bridge. You want it facing this way, and then you want redstone going across. Repeater set to 3 ticks. Make sure you don't forget this sticky piston underneath with this iron block on top. Yet again, this can be any block you want, and then coming off of that block, we have a repeater set to 1 ticks, yet again going into this sticky piston. Over the other side, it is the same thing. So you want to go across 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 blocks, and then go up, and then forming those 2 pieces of redstone there, both going off in 3 directions. And then, so on this one, you want to place a block with redstone on top going this way, to another sticky piston, which should be on the same line along here. Just check that and then make sure it, so there should be actually 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks between these 2 sticky pistons. Just do that to check, and then yet again we have the redstone coming out, redstone turning left, and then repeater set to 3 ticks, sticky piston underneath with block on top. Yet again, it can be any block you want. And then repeater set to 1 tick, yet again going into that sticky piston. Heading over again to the other side, we're going to repeat the same setup, but just the other way around. So we've already done this little bit. So then we have the 2x2 square, all covered in redstone. 1 redstone over here, turning left with repeat set to 3 ticks. Sticky piston, which has a block on top, repeat set to 1 ticks, and then we have that other sticky piston, which is facing inwards. Make sure that it's facing inwards, and then we have the block with redstone on top going into that sticky piston again. So again, we have the redstone going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 blocks across, then turning right, going up here, going into a sticky piston, which is again facing inwards. Yet again, they need to be 4 blocks apart. Make sure that they're also on the same line. And then next to this redstone, we place 1 block this way with redstone, 1 block this way again with redstone, turning right. And then we'd repeat it with 3 ticks, sticky piston, block, and that 1 tick repeater leading into the sticky piston. Also, make sure you have some unmovable blocks here next to the 2 middle pieces of redstone to stop your flying machine going across. Same for that other side as well. Make sure to remember that. And so, finally, for our last step, and the most frightening one, building the actual flying machines themselves. Since these are quite complicated, I will actually build a replica next to them. So, first, just imagine that the sticky piston is part of that one over there. So what you want to do is place 1, 2, 3, 4 slime blocks along here. Any movable object, it could be a block of iron, it could be sandstone, it could be anything. Slime blocks going up. So that's up 3 and then across 1. And then we have an observer, which is going this way, with a piston going over here. And then another 2. So this is actually going to be your bridge material. So whatever you want your drawbridge to be made out of, this is what these blocks are going to be. So that's the first part of our flying machine. You can get rid of that sticky piston now, because now you know where it is. So now you actually want honey blocks, and you just get them. So then we place a observer facing in this direction with a sticky piston attached to it, with 1, 2, 3, 4 honey blocks attached to that, with then your 4 blocks of bridge material on top. So this is your first flying machine. I'll just pause the video now if you didn't get it right. So you want to copy that and then place it, remembering that sticky piston there. Okay, so you should have done that. And now we're going to do the flying machine on the other side, which is exactly the same, but the slime blocks and honey blocks are inverted, so I'll just do that now. So we have the floor blocks along here, and then up 3, across 1, any movable block, observer, sticky piston, bridge material going across 2, observer facing this way, sticky piston coming off that, and then with slime blocks going 1, 2, 3, and 4, with then that 4 bridge material on top. So there we go. That will be the flying machines of this side all done and dusted. So now we can move on to the second side. So these are actually the same flying machines as before, but I'll build them for you here. So we have this sticky piston, which will be that sticky piston there. And you want to place 4 honey blocks going 1, 2, 3, 4 along there, and then 3 up. Do you want 1, 2, and then 3? 1 across there. Any movable object, you should be getting quite good at this by now. And then the observer coming off it, sticky piston, and then with those 2 bridge material on top. Second part of the flying machine, we have the observer facing in this direction with a sticky piston, then 1, 2, 3, 4 slime blocks coming off that with the 1, 2, 3, 4 bridge material on that. So remember that make sure that sticky piston is 2 blocks away. So now we move over to the flying machine next to it, which is this one. And remember that this block is 2 blocks away from this sticky piston that you've already built. So you want to go with slime blocks 1, 2, 3, 4, and then another 2 blocks on top, 1 to the right. Any movable object here, and then the observer with the sticky piston, and then with that bridge material on the top, 1, 2, and then second part of the flying machine, we have the observer again, sticky piston, 1, 2, 3, 4 honey blocks, and then 1, 2, 3, for bridge material on top of that. So now all of your drawbridge should be made. So now the only thing to do is give it a quick test to see if it works. If you're in creative, I would advise you to make a backup now. But let's see. The flying machine. So yours should come out like roughly at that sort of time, and then make sure that these observers are one in front, behind them, in front or behind, wherever you want, but the face is facing towards these pistons, so it will get the retraction so they meet in the middle there. Make sure that there's no gaps either side, and then you can press either button to retract it, and then hopefully that will all work. But if it didn't, then you can watch this video again if you haven't actually got it yet, or you could just like put in the comments what it is, what you think isn't working, and I will be happy to answer or check it out if you are still not working. So we've done the land drawbridge that works, but how about if you want to put it in a moat of water or lava even, which is probably why you'll be using this drawbridge. So now I will go over how to make it into a moat drawbridge, which will go across something like this, and I will show you how to do that in just a moment. Let's just see the opening and the retraction of this type of drawbridge. And that did not work. I don't think I actually pressed the button. Hang on. It still didn't work. Oh, give me a sec to figure out what's gone wrong. So, I think I have worked out what's gone wrong. So, where was I? Oh, yes. We have the opening of this bridge. There we go, that's what we wanted. So as you can see, the bridge is now opening. Once it's fully opened, we could go across, and the water is pushing up to either side, so there's no like annoying bits where it goes in. And then we can see the retraction here, which will leave it to become a moat yet again. So let's get in how to build this new, different, well, just an adaptation sort of to the real thing. So before you start, I would recommend not like filling in this water first. I recommend doing that last, or if you're doing it over a piece of water that's already there, like a river, I would recommend strongly advise you to drain this part out so you can do all of that, like modifying and making the bridge, put all the redstone in before you actually let that water back in again. So first off, what you want to do is where these pistons are, you want to place any immovable objects, like a furnace, the easiest one, which I've used here, and then you would want to do that 4 there, and then 4 there also. So this is the, underneath here is the redstone that will activate the retraction of the bridge by moving these pistons. Secondly, you want to do this little formation, do this exactly, you don't want to do any of this wrong, otherwise the water will come through. So this is an upside down slab, and then this is a normal slab. So underneath here, I'll just show you on the other one, is this iron block thing here. So that's what's underneath that ridge. Over there we have the iron blocks going up, and that's why it needs to be a little bit higher than the rest of the thing. I'll pause the video now, so you can copy this rock formation and replay it when you've done. Okay, so you should have done that by now. You don't actually need to do any of these rock formations over here. I've just done that to make it look nice. You don't need to do that or that or that. It's just that one that you can add these other ones just to blend it in a little bit. So it's just these two things that you need at the bottom of your pool. Okay, so secondly, after you've done these 2 rock formations, you want to cover the entire bottom of your redstone in 1 layer of blocks. So this is what I've already done here. I'll just show you a brief example. So you would have already put the immovable objects over here. So I'll just quickly do that. Boom, 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 boom. So then you would cover all of this layer in 1 layer of whatever the bottom of your thing wants to be. So just covering all of that redstone up so none of it gets in the water. So I'll leave you to do all of that while I just delete this bit I've done here. So yeah, you want to make sure that none of the redstone is covered, otherwise it will ruin it all, and you definitely don't want that to happen. So replay the video when you've done it, and then we can move on to the next step. So now after you've done that, you should have something which looks pretty similar to what I've got here, except for the water. You would have the rock formation, the pistons here. You may have some other rock formations around it to blend in with the surroundings, or you may just have a completely flat bottom, and that will be good. So the next thing you want to do after that is build up the walls, or if you're in a river or something, just break the momentary walls that you have made, and then let the water flow in, and then you want to place blocks underneath here if you want, once you replace in the water, but we're not doing that yet. So if you're in the water, you want to, actually no, you don't want to remove these. Forget what I said. So if you're doing this as an artificial body of water like I've got here, you want to just build up all of these walls around here, going right up till make sure there's one block gap in between where the flying machine would go and your movable object. We're going to put furnaces there soon, and so you want to go those walls all the way around. You could extend this if you wanted. I've just done a brief example here. So you want to do that all the way around, yet again being one block from the flying machine, and then same with the other side, and then one block further down at the bottom because they won't touch diagonally and pull them along. So after you've made those walls, or if you're in a river, just do nothing. You don't need to do anything for this step, so yippee. So after you've done that, replay the video, and then we can get on with the next step. So after that, you want to place all around your flying machine, so which will be one block back, so one block in front of your flying machine, which is where the walls should be. You want to place any immovable objects all the way around. You don't need to do it on the roof because that's where the platform is. You've already done that. So you want to place it all the way around and then down again, and you want to repeat that all the way along. So for the bottom ones, you want to repeat it all the way along to the end, like is what I've done here. You don't actually need the corner ones, so I can just delete those now at the moment. So, and then you want to place another layer of those. You don't actually need these. You want to place another layer of furnaces going yet again all the way to the edge, and then you want to place another two layers of furnaces going 2 blocks back from the water. Same on the other side, which I haven't actually done correctly here, so we could have covered the whole thing in water if we weren't careful. So yeah, we've done that there, and then make sure you still have these furnaces or just dispensers or whatever you have as movable objects at the back here, and you want to repeat this process, do the exact same thing on the other side. So we want to place your flying machine should be a lot further back this side, so you want to actually place it 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks in front of your flying machine, and then you place it all the way around like we did in the other thing. Don't place it for the top because you don't need to, and then do the floor and then one layer all the way to the back, and then you want to do the next 2 layers only to these 3 bits, so you don't actually need these. I could just delete those over there. So yeah, you should end up with something looking a lot like this, and then with the walls here as well. If you don't, then pause the video here so you can make it look more like this, and then replay it when you're done. Okay, so that should be the last of your steps of preparing it for the underwater world. I'll just remove these because you don't actually need them. Not even following my own instructions, but I nearly just broke the whole thing by breaking those. Remember, keep the ones at the back. Make sure you do that, because if you don't, your flying machine will continue off into oblivion in that direction, and that's definitely not what you want to happen. So make sure you get that correctly. So yeah, I will just continue destroying these over here. So yeah, that should be good now, and now you will be ready to let the water back in if you're in a river or other sort of pre-made water bit. But if you're making an artificial one like me, then you will, if you're in survival at least, you will want to place blocks all the way along and then all the way around here, and then here. So you want to place a layer beneath the top layer of water. You want to place that all the way around. I'll just do it for a little bit, so it takes me less time. And so once you've done all of those, then replay the video, and then we can go on with the next step. So after you've done that, then you want to place, so you want to get lots of water buckets, or just make an infinite water source like next to the thing. So I'll just do it over here quickly. So you want to place water buckets at one diagonal corner and then the other diagonal corner, and then you can just infinitely pick up stuff and then place it all along this layer that you've created. Then you can delete the layer, and then all the water will fall down, and you should have a moat like the one that's already here. This step also applies for the people in a river or whatever. And yeah, then you should be completely done. That's it. So then you will have your very own drawbridge that can extend out into the water and create a drawbridge over an expanse of water, which then you can then walk over. Or if you're feeling particularly daredevil, you could try and jump over it as it's closing, but I'm not good enough at that, so I just failed. You could get an entire competition out of that, but I'll leave that to you. You're probably a lot more creative than me. So yeah, that's actually everything I have time for today. I hope you've enjoyed this oogly boogly. If you didn't, then I'm sorry. Leave a suggestion in the comments about how I could do better, and if you did like it, well, like the video if you did, and if you really enjoyed it, make sure to subscribe. But this was Oogly Boogly. Thanks for watching. See ya!